come in with the best college football team in the land for 2 years. In this lifetime, you ought to prove nothing to nobody except yourself. And after what you've gone through, if you haven't done that by now, it ain't gonna never happen.
This kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. And it's great just watching every day was like a privilege.
They worked hard and they achieved greatness, and when the opportunity arose to lead, they accepted it. The goal of this event is to inspire you and to empower you. Hopefully, at some stage today, you'll realise that you have what it takes to be a leader, and hopefully that realisation will give you the confidence you need to offer guidance when others look to you for it. We won't always be able to lead. Sometimes it will be someone else's turn. But at some stage, and probably many times in life, we will all be called upon to lead. And when that chance presents itself, it can be frightening. But fear is rarely a good reason to reject an opportunity. Every day, people shy away from leadership because they're scared or because they think that they're not good enough. Maybe they could have been the next Gandhi or Mandela. It's a tragedy that the world never got to see what they can do. After today, none of you should think of yourselves as less than a leader. When people speak about changing the world, there are two very different but equally insightful quotes which come to my mind. The first is by Margaret Mead. She once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." And the second, Macklemore once said, "Don't try to change the world. Find something that you love and do it every day. Do that for the rest of your life, and eventually the world will change." A few weeks ago, we asked some students what traits they thought strong leaders have in common, and there were a few answers which came up again and again. Words like humility, guidance, encouragement. There are no criteria for leadership, but if there were, Miss Ryan and Miss Gilligan of Terenure College would tick all the boxes. So I'd like to thank them on behalf of Transition Year, because without their diligence and immense patience, none of this would be possible. I'd also like to thank our sponsors. The loyal support of Microsoft has allowed us to grow this conference through the years and ensure that its message reaches as many students as possible. And the backing of our main sponsor this year, AIB, has allowed us to organise the event without once having to make a sacrifice which would have compromised its quality. Thanks to all of our other sponsors, Pennies, One for All, Steam Study Abroad, and everyone else who has supported us. Their support makes this event possible, but it is, of course, our speakers who deserve the most thanks. Their willingness to share stories and their wisdom out of their own goodwill has been truly striking. Over the next few hours, some incredible people will take this stage. I urge you to take advantage. Listen carefully, consider what they say. If something strikes a chord with you, take note of it. And ask questions, get involved, don't be shy. You might never get the chance again. And as an added incentive, there will be prizes at the end of the day for the best questions. Our Master of Ceremonies, George Morgan, will be speaking to you about this and lots more. For now, just remember, the speakers that will address you today really aren't anything other than a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens who found something they loved, did it every day, and change the world. Thank you all for coming and for listening. I hope you discovered something new today, and I hope you enjoy yourselves. I'd now like to hand you over to our representative from AIB and Dublin GAA, James McCarthy.
Thanks Matthew, what a brilliant young speaker you are. I'm delighted to be here today to represent AIB in association with this event and to help support the Terenure students. AIB is proud to back this event for the second year running, and what a 2 years it's been. This room is full of leaders of tomorrow. Have a look around. Every single person in this room can inspire, lead and reach their full potential in every walk of life. We're delighted to welcome schools from all around the country here today, from Dublin, Limerick, Meath, Clare, Louth, Cork and even Kerry. So without any further ado, I'm really looking forward to listening to some of the speakers here today, and I'm sure you are too. So try and take some home to today. There's some brilliant speakers here, and without any further ado, we'll let the show continue. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, James. Just a few housekeeping rules for today. I'm George, I'll be your MC. Just a reminder to respect the speakers while they're speaking. They've given up their free time to be here, so please do that. We want you to engage on social media. You'll see all our handles here for Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat and Instagram. Please get on that, but not during the speakers, during break times, preferably have your phones off during speakers. After someone has spoke, we will have a Q&A session. We have runners around with microphones and purple t-shirts, even up the back. If you want to ask a question, simply stand up or put up your hand and state your name and the name of your school, as we will have prizes for the top 6 questions, including hoodies, One for All vouchers, etc. So without further ado, I welcome Aaron and Keane to introduce our first speakers.
Lindsay Peake is a multi-talented sports star who continues to pave the way for female athletes. The list of her sporting achievements include under-18 level football, co-captaining the women's senior basketball team, and an All-Ireland final win with Dublin Ladies GAA. If that's not enough, More recently, she began her rugby career, beginning with sevens and progressing to international level, where she's currently playing in front row. I'll now hand you over to Keane.
Vicky Ronning is the current head coach of the women's basketball team for the Special Olympics Ireland. Her coaching accomplishments include a gold medal from the 2015 Special Olympic Games. Beginning her sports career playing Gaelic, Vicky is captain for the Parnell Ladies GAA. Beyond her accomplishments on the court and pitch, Vicky is a corporate relationship manager at AIB. Please welcome to the stage Lindsay Peat and Vicky Ronning.
Good morning. I think we can do a bit better than that. Good morning. Much better. We'd first like to thank everyone, Terenure College, Microsoft and AIB for having us here today to what I have no doubt will be a hugely successful event. Today, hopefully if this works now. Maybe not. Ethics there. Okay, there you go. So, just to go back and give our title. The title of our talk today is Compete, Victory Using the Leader Within. And we sort of played on our names with that. I'm Lindsay Peat, if anyone doesn't know who I am and wondering who we are. And beside me to my right is Vicky Ronning, who you'll hear from in the next few minutes. So why are we here today? And how do we think we can inspire you? We're just going to tell you about our journey. It started with sport, but it really has moulded us into the two people we are today. I want to skip on to that one. So as I said, for anybody who knows who I am, I'm very grateful. For anyone who doesn't, that's okay too. But I'm an Irish athlete who has had the pleasure and honour of playing for her country at senior basketball, my beloved Dublin for inter-county football, and at present I am one of the members of the senior Irish women's rugby team, who hopes to be successful in winning the World Cup in August this year. But today, it's not about all those headlines that you see there in front of me, as much as I'm absolutely flattered. What I want to tell you about is where I started, and how my journey in sport has moulded me into a much better person. So, I'm sure you're saying, what a cool character, she's the Hulk. Not really. I was absolutely obnoxious. I cursed at my coaches, I got thrown out of gyms, and I gave out to referees and hugely disrespected them. I was athletic and I was very skillful, but it was all about me, and I didn't really think about the people who were helping me, my teammates, anything like that. And to be honest, I was so skillful that they really couldn't do anything about it. They needed me, and to be honest, it was all about me. But that was to change. I could have picked a much worse photo. I probably actually wouldn't have fit it on the screen. But this was my first bump in the road, the first time I was challenged in my early 20s. And we had an Australian coach take us over. And now I wasn't number one. Now I wasn't the most skillful. I wasn't the most fittest. And he didn't need me. And I spent most of my seasons on the bench. I was depressed. I was, as you can see, overweight. And I was a very different animal off that court to what I was on it. I was shy, and I wasn't very confident, and I didn't push myself. But sport was my sanctuary. It was the one area in life where I wasn't afraid to push myself and challenge myself. And this here was the first time I seen what me and my behaviour meant to other people. So I said to myself, I'm not going to let that man make me take away my happy place. So I ended up losing 6 stone. I made the Irish Senior Women's for the first time, in which time my new teammates told me that they didn't really like me very much. But again, it was the first time that I had seen people telling me what effect I had on them. Now when I lost the weight, people come up who were my enemy, who probably really dug into me in matches and got me kicked out and pressed my temper. They come up to me and said, you know what, you've done a really good job. And again, it was the first time that I had seen what my actions meant to other people. And all along my career, I've had bumps in the road. But I set the standard from that time on that nobody would take away my happy place. that I would raise the bar every time, that I would challenge myself. I'm not the most skillful. I stand here in front of you and I tell you the truth. I'm not the most skillful footballer, basketball or rugby player, but I have high standards. I'm always fit. I would absolutely die for the jersey I'm in, and that's what I bring to my teammates. So when I ask a friend of mine, and if you learn nothing from today, you need good friends who'll tell you the good and tell you the bad. And Clean O'Connor, Dublin goalkeeper, I said to her, how did you see me change when I first started with Dublin to where I am now? And she said, well, when you come in, it was all about you. Yes, you had high standards, and people seen that, but you changed. It was now about the team around you. You now became the glue that brought people together. You now were the motivator to tell people that we are able to win All-Irelands. You are able to be that All-Star. You are able to score goals in All-Ireland finals in front of 32,000 people in Europe's third biggest stadium. You're able to do all that because I believe we're able to do that. So we were able to take the qualities I had and now marriage it with the bigger picture. And probably this is the pinnacle and probably my proudest moment. When I went back to college in my late 20s to do a degree, it was my biggest challenge. I wasn't very academic. I held on to my happy place and I reminded myself, you've been through bigger challenges. And in that time I decided to take chairperson of the basketball team. And DCU is a fantastic college. But to be honest, it's very, at times, elitist, which means it's all about the best person, the best sports person. And I didn't want that for other people, because it's not all, sport isn't about that. So what I did was we set up a Division 3 team. A lot of it was my classmates. They were first years in college. They came from all over Ireland. It was about making new friends. It was about them challenging each other. It was about them finding their happy place. We went unbeaten that year. They got to a final in the National Basketball Arena. They had huge amounts of fun. And all it was about was that happy place that we created. And that year I won the Student Sports Ireland Leadership Award. And as much as this here tells all about the sporting accolades, it's more about what I could bring, intertwine that and bring it to someone else. Bring it to the bigger picture. Bring it to everyone else around them so they can find their happy place. And if I can give you anything else today, sport is my happy place. It pushed me to be the person I am. I hope that you can find your happy place to push the best out of you. Thank you.
So that wasn't a hard one to follow at all, not at all. I suppose I am similar to Lindsay in certain ways, and because I am such good friends with Lindsay, she's helped me to develop as a person. When I look out at you, I look at you and I go, oh my God, what did I do when I was 16 years of age? What was I going to do with the rest of my life? Panicking, looking around, going, wow, this is a scary place. I also wouldn't have had confidence in myself. I would never have thought, even when I say the word now, leader, I still, to one extent, go, a leader is somebody who is really important, a president, a person that leaves a legacy with someone. A leader, me, I don't know. But what I have learned over the years is I can be a role model. I can get that confidence to be a role model. My playing career started with Lindsay at basketball, and then after years of trying to convince me she wanted me to go and play football. Through playing those sports, I developed these skills, this team ethic that I probably would never have had. This thing that if you work together, you can achieve something, and that you as a person impact people through life. You can, through the way you carry on in school, in sport, in anything. You don't think it, but in your everyday activities, you are helping people, you are becoming a role model, and it's up to you to be aware of that. You might not think that, but you are. I suppose, for me, I accidentally fell into Special Olympics. My old school teacher was running a club, and she said, Vicky, would you mind helping out with Special Olympics? I was like, Special Olympics? I don't have the skill set, I don't have the confidence, I don't have the ability that you need to do that. But she convinced me to do it, and I learned so much. I learned so much from the athletes, I learned so much from what I was doing, that I started to build the confidence. I was changing people's lives. I was doing things to help the athletes. I was helping them on a day-by-day level progress. Obviously, you know, every training session, every match we play, it's an achievement. But for me, the epitome would have been when we got to LA. In my head, I was going, how do I get 10 athletes to perform at their best, to work together for 8 months in training, all different abilities, autism, Down syndrome, all of that. How do you get all of these people to work together to achieve one goal? And how do I do that? Obviously, by showing them that we can do it. Setting good examples, doing whatever, trying to make them be better in themselves. For LA, what I did was I went around and I met their families, I met their carers, I met their key workers, the whole lot, just to see what it was that they wanted to achieve from this, what did they want to get from this. It's something that I have to do every day in my job. I work with an AIB, I have a team that sits under me, I have to every day motivate people, I have to be somebody that they look up to, I can't ask somebody to go and do something if it's something that I'm not willing to do myself. If it's something that I don't use as a work ethic, if it's something that, they don't want to do, how do you motivate that person? You become a role model, you teach them all of the right things, you teach them that it's a team and we're working towards one goal, and that's what we want to achieve from something, and that's the reality of it. You're sitting there now going, well, I'm not really a role model, I hang around with all of my friends. In my case, you're looking at somebody like Lindsay Peat and going, she's a role model, I'm not a role model. I don't have that ability, I don't have that discipline. But you learn that. You pick something that you're good at. You pick something that you want to do, and you learn how to be the best at it. You learn how to bring other people along. You learn how to develop other people. You learn how to work as a team. They're principles that I've had to learn from playing team sports to the job that I'm in now. Every day we interact with people, we have to work with other people. You can't really ask.
Morning everybody. But I'd like to just talk a little bit about working with homeless people on the streets all day long. Their parents were unemployed, couldn't give them any money, so what were they doing? A little bit of robbing. And by the time they got to 16 and 17, they were doing an awful lot of robbing, and they were going to jail. So that was the problem. So we opened a youth club, we opened a craft centre where they could make lovely crafts, and we were able to sell them, make a few bob. We were able to employ some of the kids making the crafts. We would sell them to the shops. And then I came across the kids sleeping on the street, 9 years of age. So we said, well, we have a youth club, we have a craft centre, we have employment schemes, so let's get a little house and open a little hostel. So we did that. And we took in 6 boys, because it was all boys then, there were no girls in the streets back in the 1970s. We took in 6 boys up to the age of 16, and then the whole thing just snowballed. More and more kids were coming. We had to open more and more houses. Then the drug problem hit Dublin. We had to open our own drug treatment centres. So one thing just led to another. So from that 9-year-old kid, we now run 15 hostels, 4 of them for under 18s. The rest are for young homeless adults. We have about 200 apartments, where we can give a homeless person a key to the door and say, this is yours for the rest of your life. And we have 2 drug treatment centres and a drop-in centre. But who are homeless young people? Most people's perception is that they have a drug problem, they have an alcohol problem. Some do, and some do. We have homeless young people in Trinity College. We have some in UCD. Some became electricians, carpenters. 2 of our 17-year-old homeless young people are just back from California. They were there on a sports scholarship trial. But those homeless people are invisible. You meet them, but you have no idea they're homeless. And so the only homeless people that people encounter are the ones down in Abbey Street or on the boardwalk who are stoned or drunk. And that shapes the perception of homeless people, that they're all alcoholics or they all have a drug problem. But it's the ones that do have an alcohol or drug problem that have changed me. Some of them have had disaster childhoods. I'm thinking of a young man, he lived with his mother and his sister. Himself and his sister were very close together. And when he was 12 12 years of age, his mother was an alcoholic. When he was 12 years of age, his mother stabbed his sister to death in front of him. Now, he just left home. We don't know where he was for 5 years, sleeping on the street somewhere. Turned up at our door when he was 17, and he lived with us now for the rest of his life because he now has serious mental health problems. Or a young lad, 14 years of age, a little bit younger than yourselves, into the room. They're getting a message.